Hey YouTube, bigerikbaby here with a visual representation of Recoil and Suppression in Battlefield Hardline compared to previous Battlefield titles. We're going to be using some of the new guns along with their counterparts from past games with no attachments to show what has changed and what has stayed the same. Right now we have the M16A3, which makes a return in Hardline, and we'll see how it compares to the BF3 version. First we'll dump the mag without countering the recoil, and it looks like the Hardline M16 has a harsher recoil vertically and to the right, but only by a little bit. Now we'll mag dump while trying to hold the gun steady, and it looks like the M16 from Hardline has a tighter group at 15 meters. What does this mean? I think it means the recoil will be slightly harder to control, but the spread from the weapons will not be as large. Let's try hipfire now, and it looks to be about the same in both games. Notice both M16s have nearly the same reload time in these clips, which means it's lightning fast as always. Now let's take a look at a couple other guns and see how they stack up. We have the G36C from Hardline on the right and the G36C from Battlefield 4 on the left. Following the same format, it looks like the Hardline version has a harsher vertical climb, but not by too much, and the reload time looks identical again. Now let's fire all of our bullets while countering the recoil, and it looks to be a slightly tighter grouping on the Hardline side, which agrees with what the M16 had to offer as well. Let's fire from the hip again, we'll see how it stacks up, and Hardline looks to have a tighter pattern, which means the G36C might be better in close quarters, but with its slow rate of fire, not by much. Let's take a look at a light machine gun now, the MG36, which returns in Battlefield Hardline after not appearing in Battlefield 4. I tried to sync up the reloads as best as I could, and they look to be around the same. First, I will not counter the recoil, and the recoil pattern looks to have changed significantly. It is now a harsh pull to the left instead of almost straight up, and it should be slightly more challenging to control, especially for console users with the joysticks. Now let's give this MG36 a big long burst without stopping and controlling the recoil, and the Hardline MG36 looks to reward you with a very small group if you can counter the recoil properly and burst accordingly. We'll give a quick look at the hipfire, but since this is an LMG, the hipfire is atrocious across the board, so just aim down your sights and you'll be fine. Now that we took a look at how recoil differs in Hardline, let's see if suppression has changed at all. We're on Metro in Battlefield 4, and Seabear is behind me firing right next to my head, which will set off suppression. You can see my sight start to do a figure 8 movement, and it will last as long as he keeps shooting near me, and even for a few seconds after as well. Let's take a look at how that affects your aiming, and again Seabear starts to shoot behind me to trigger the suppression. You can see that it's pretty tough to control the swaying even at the short distance, and the suppression will mess up your shots even after the person stops firing. If you get in a position like this, I recommend you just leave and seek cover and wait until the suppression goes away. Now back to Battlefield Hardline, and we will perform the same type of test. Seabear is firing the MG36 next to my ear, and you can definitely see suppression start a few rounds in. It seems that the amount of bullets it takes to start suppression is increased, but it is definitely there, and you can see my sight start to do the figure 8 pattern. Now he's firing an assault rifle behind me, and it takes many more bullets to actually start the sight sway. I wouldn't be opposed to removing suppression completely, but if it's in the game, I'd rather it take a good amount of bullets to do so, and more than likely you would have been already killed, so I don't think you really have to worry about it as much as you do in Battlefield 4. The next clip will show me shooting while being suppressed, and it seems easier to control than in Battlefield 4. I hope this helped a few of you who are part of Hardline right now, and for those that aren't, this shows you pretty well what the differences are in the game. They may not seem like much, but recoil and suppression definitely seem different from what we have had in the past. Thank you to Seabear, who along with myself are a part of the Hostile Takeover Clan. Our link is in the video description. Subscribe and stay tuned for more Hardline content as well as Battlefield 4, and as always, thanks for watching.